sad or frightened or whatever it is, wanting, and you're just exploring this old companion. So this is the basic approach to feel, even for just a minute, okay, for a minute or a half minute when you've got a strong emotion, let's just feel it a bit and name it, recognize it, allow it, investigate it, and the non-identified is just, you're the awareness that's noticing it. Okay. Now, just in case you happen to be stirred up for a moment, anybody stirred up? Well, I won't ask you, but if you are stirred up, just to play around with your consciousness a bit, bring to mind somebody who you have a lot of love for right now. It can be a pet or a friend or a relative, whatever, and have them in your mind. And just as you have a picture of them, send them some love wherever you are right now. I hope you're happy and peaceful, and I hope you feel my love for you. May it be happy and peaceful. Feel my love. Notice that. Feel that. Okay, you can open your eyes. Next week, by the way, we'll be getting into the positive states like loving kindness. It's a little incentive to be here. But that's the first strategy, to just be mindful even with the difficult emotion, instead of battling it or running away from it for a little bit of a time. You have a whole different relationship that you practice. Okay. Now, often you might notice, oh, when I'm mindful, it's not as intense, and it seemed to go away. Here's the warning. You can't be mindful of a difficult emotion in order to make it go away. It knows. We can't treat it. It really means letting it be how it is and just being curious and interested with no agenda. Okay, with that, there are, in just a minute that I have left, a couple of antidotes for each of these. Besides being mindful, that's the primary one. If you're caught in wanting, a classical reflection is realizing impermanence. As much as I want this, how good is it going to feel a year from now? Even if I've met the love of my life, and that can happen, I met the love of my life. But if you think it's going to be just fantastic honeymoon for the next 30 years, good luck. Things change, as beautiful as it is, and I'm all for it. I'm coming on my 30-year anniversary this year, so I'm all for great relationships, but it changes, you know. So if you think, oh, this is going to make me ultimately happy, just reflecting on how the novelty wears off, and then you can be with the change in a beautiful way. With aversion, the classical antidote is loving kindness, having compassion, either for how stuck somebody is or how stuck you are, and we'll get more into that next week. For dullness, laziness, sleepiness, I said sitting up. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Sit up, open your eyes, take some deep breaths, stand. When you've fallen asleep, don't beat yourself up. You just realize it's something that minds do. For restlessness and agitation, again, you might take some deep breaths and just allow that energy to move through you. And if it's guilt about the past, a classical exercise is to think about some skillful stuff that you've done, so you're not all rotten. You see, sometimes I do some dumb stuff, and sometimes I do some good stuff, and it balances that out. And instead of guilt, you have what's called wise remorse. You see, what can I have learned from this so that I don't keep on creating problems for myself or others? And with doubt, besides being mindful of it, the classical reflection is faith. Somebody who inspires you, or somebody who believes in you, and seeing yourself through their eyes. Faith is the antidote to doubt. With each of these, the key to remember is that they're all workable, because they come and they go, and our relationship to them makes a whole shift of letting the feelings move through us in a very skillful way. And this is a process of learning, little by little. So I'll leave you with this teaching on learning, little by little, to be with the hard stuff. This is called Autobiography in 5 Short Chapters by Portia Nelson. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes me forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault, and it still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. And that's what we're doing every time you wake up mindfully when you've fallen in the hole. Oh, not, oh, it's my fault and I should blame myself. Oh, I have another way of relating to this. So mindfulness is the key, and you might experiment this week when you get in a strong emotion to just take a few moments and being mindful of it. Let yourself feel it a little bit in your body instead of getting lost in your stories, and keep up with the experiment. And see you next week. Good luck.